Did they do black pudding, Mike?
Gone off it. Just come back from Tenerife.
You gone off black pudding?
I'm into a paella.
Paella?
Yeah.
Get out of here, you're in Skipton, man! Well, it's the 3rd of December and it's a cold winter's morning. It's tried to snow overnight and I've got lots of layers on. 3 pairs of socks, overshoes, 2 pairs of gloves, several base layers. I'm now wearing my winter jacket because the gilet doesn't work in this temperature. Anyway, here's a video from September when it was lovely and warm and we took on a really good ride. It was very, very hilly with at least 4 major descents that took us over 40 miles per hour. So anyway, here's the video and I hope you enjoy it and thank you for watching. In fact, on one of the descents, we reached 54 miles an hour.
I'm a cyclist and I live in the Pennines, and welcome to my channel. And this is my hometown, and I'm about to go and meet the guys for another bike ride. And you know what? I'm liking this new town centre. So where are we going today? Well, the plan was to cycle out towards Skipton, and then work our way out towards Trawden, Lancashire Bridge, and eventually to find Skipton Old Road. And the aim was to stick to some classic cycling roads that have been used for many years by cyclists well before us.
Right, well, we're at HQ. There's Mike over my shoulder. Lee's with us. They just got back from Tenerife at 3 o'clock this morning. So fair play, they're actually out on a good ride today, but I bet they've got some good mileage in the legs. Up Mount Tidy, 8,000 feet days, you know what I mean. I've got a few routes in mind, and we'll just see what happens. We're halfway through September, it's pretty warm, I'm wearing shorts, t-shirt, as you can see. So come on, let's go for a ride.
And so if you watch my videos, the usual script is we head out towards Todmorden, where you've got options to go towards Hebden Bridge or Burnley. And today we took the 646 towards Burnley. And so having climbed through the fantastic gorge of Cliviger, we took a right onto Redleys Road, which is where we are now, before we swing another right onto Salterford Lane. And we're at 20 miles into the ride, but there's some fantastic country lanes to be cycled along here. This is a great little section here, nice downhill, couple of switchbacks, but we've also got to be mindful of the pace we're carrying and the surface of the road, so communication is always key. You've got to let the other riders in the group know what's ahead of them, where the potholes are, and in this case we had stationary traffic and potholes.
Just watch it here, potholes! That was good, that.
And in places the road got very narrow and it felt really quick. And shortly afterwards we had a ford to cross. Got to be really careful here because it's wet and it's on cobbles. So behind us we've got Worsthorne with Trawden ahead of us, and on this section here we was cruising at 40 miles per hour.
Right, well, we're 29 miles into the ride. This is Trawden, and just show you the route profile on here so far. So look, you can see that. There's the red dot. Well, we've just quickly got through Trawden, up a nice little climb. Now we're dropping into Lancashire Bridge, and then we can get onto the Skipton Old Road then.
So this is part of the Skipton Old Road, and this is the first section where there's a bit of a dip with a really good climb ahead. I've got Owen in front, I think Lee's behind me, and we're going to build a pace up here. This is a short, sharp, straight descent. Now I'm giving it quite a lot of beans here on the pedals, and I reached 48 miles per hour, and then Lee came flying past me on the final second as we approached this dip here. But if ever you're going to be trying to cycle at these speeds on a bicycle made of carbon and thin wheels, just be careful. So there we've got Lee, Phil and Owen coming through as we climb up now towards the top of Bleer Moor.
Well, I hit 48 plus then, so I'm not sure what Lee came past me at. I'll ask him in a minute.
And the views up here were fantastic, and we're at over 1100 feet above sea level, with Barnoldswick to the left and Glusburn to the right. But let's have a look at this ride we're going to do today in some more detail. So looking on the map, that's where we're based in the northwest of England, and highlighted in green there, you can see it's going to be a very undulating ride. But if we look a bit closer, the section highlighted in yellow and blue is where we currently are. And the route was going to take us in a clockwise direction where we were going to head towards Skipton. And the route back was going to be pretty brutal as well, with Silsdon, Keighley, Hebden Bridge and Crag Vale to contend with. And we'll come to that in a moment. So there's going to be 4 major descents of the day. The first one being the Skipton Old Road descent just ahead of us. Now this is a new descent for the group and it turned out to be very quick. At 50 miles we've got to include the descent into Silsdon because it's a little beauty. And then at 63 miles we had the descent of Cockhill into Hebden Bridge, followed by the descent of Blackstone Edge at 75 miles, having climbed up the Crag Vale. And at this stage there'll be some tired legs in the group. But let's get back to the ride.
Well, we've done some climbing there, probably done a couple of thousand feet there, maybe 2.5 already. We've got all the Yorkshire Dales on this side and ahead, Lancashire's behind us, and with a view like that and a fantastic descent ahead, it's time to really enjoy it. But first things first, we'll have to regroup at the crest of this hill. How's it going, Mike?
Yeah, not so bad.
Yeah. How's your Tenerife legs?
We do that climb from the bottom.
Yeah, we've done that, Mark.
Before
Right there.
Yeah.
35 miles, 3,331.
Oh, I'm getting some stick now. If you're getting 1,000 feet every 10 mile, you're on a ride. And I might have slightly eluded that fact. Right, here's the descent of Skipton Old Road. If you know the road, it's super fast. If you don't know it, just be really careful. We'll wind it up now, 27 mile an hour.
So there goes Lee just passing me, and he looks like he means business. Look how quickly that gap develops. Again, we're on the big ring here. I think I'm on a 53.13. I'm actually having to get out of the saddle to try and bridge the gap, but even at these speeds it's just so hard to do that.
36 miles an hour.
I tuck in and try to be as aerodynamic as I possibly can. Now this section, it's not super steep at all. We had a favourable wind, and there you go, I've bridged the gap. Or has Lee just stopped pedalling hard for a moment? Nevertheless, this was a fantastic road. Let's have a look at this descent and some data from the ride. So from the very top of this road, we're at almost 1200 foot above sea level, and we descend to 307 feet below, which is 889 feet of descending over a 4.1 mile course. And if you look at the graph with the highlighted blue line, that's the average speed. So you can see that we was always carrying some high speed along this section.
Now this is really steep here.
Well, what a descent this is. And we're definitely speeding at this section as well. Lee's just ahead there as we approach the small village of Carlton in Craven.
Left, left, left. Oh, wow. Well, Lee, I saw 49 point summit.
I'd say you could be 54.
54?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, that was pretty good. Lee's, have you got on there? Is it 54?
53, 54, something like that. I'd have to find it.
All right. He's having a quick look. But I saw 49.7, I'm sure I did.
Oh, it was over 50. 49.
Yeah, 49 over there.
51.2. 72.1.
51 point.
I can't find me back.
There you go, 40 miles on the dot. Skipton's nice and busy. The guys are behind me. I think we'll call in here to get a brew. Best option at 40 mile. Just wondering, Mike, did they do black pudding, Mike?
Gone off it. Just come back from Tenerife.
You got off black pudding?
I'm into a paella. Then,
Paella?
yeah,
Get out of here, you're in Skipton, man!
gone all healthy, Dad. Do you want to see me white bits?
I don't want to see your white bits, we'll come back to this later. New diet, Mike?
New diet.
What's your new diet?
Coke,
Coke.
ham.
Yeah, I like your handbag, that's nice, that. It's waterproof and everything, that.
This you can put your tablets in,
Yeah.
and it doesn't.
Your medication?
Well, that as well if you
that
like.
what you're on about?
As. No,
Yeah.
it's not what I was on about.
All right, yeah.
The tablets you put in your drink now.
Oh, them tablets. Sorry, Mike.
But you can put, I can put me medication to keep me normal.
Yeah.
Well, as normal as I can go.
Which ain't helping at all. We've been to this cafe loads of times before. They're currently talking Mount Tidy, Tenerife. Lee arrived 3:30 this morning on the plane. Tell you what, it's pretty good when you come into the cafe and you're on a Bianchi like this. It weighs nothing. Super record. And then you've got the Dogma F12. That's the kind of bike you need to get yourself to Skipton for a cup of coffee and a bacon butty, all right. And look at this, Trek Endermonde. Lovely colours, hydraulics, aerodynamic, all specced out. Again, these are the bikes that we're going to the cafes in. It's hard to imagine, if you pull up outside a cafe here, there's some dosh lying around. Now at the back here we've got a Ribble Gran Fondo. The owner of this bike, he actually had a bad crash, so he's waiting for a replacement. We've got a Cervelo R series here with SRAM Force hydraulics. SRAM Force is as light as Dura Ace. A nice bike. And finally, I mean, I like the look of this bike as well, this BMC Time Machine. It's a TM R01. The wheels sound fantastic on this. It's a really nice piece of kit. It might be a little bit old, a bit like my bike. It's getting a bit old school now, but the technology's changing that quickly. But all these bikes, they're professional level bikes. This is my bike, my rally, my good old faithful rally. Again, this is a really nice bike, and they all weigh a similar weight. We're all around 6.8 kilograms, maybe 7.4. 7.4 is a pretty good weight. Getting a bike down to 6.8 can be really hard. Tyres, wheel depth is a big factor. We're all running deep section profile rims. We're basically all on super bikes. Right, we're going to make our way now towards Bolton Abbey, Bolton Bridge. We're on some nice country lanes here, stunning part of the world, God's own country. Just cycle through Embassy. Well, that was a nice little blast. We went through Addingham there, that's where we are now. But to get there near Bolton Bridge, we were flying. 50 miles in, and we're heading towards Silsdon next. And we're on the climb of the A6034. And get another nice descent all the way into Silsdon then.
So here we are now on the descent of the A6034. I've just gone to the front to keep the pace going there, then Owen comes through. Now the speed along this section was anywhere between 38 miles an hour and 43 miles per hour. But as you can see, Owen's punching a big hole into the wind there. I'm comfortably behind him. I'll come through, put some power to the pedals, go to the front, and no sooner do I get to the front, I'm tucking in, and there comes Lee. And it takes another big effort just to get on Lee's wheel. So this is where we're cruising at around 43 miles per hour. It's a long straight road ahead with a right-hander approaching. Now this actually is quite a good descent. Now here's that bend that I mentioned, and we get around that really nicely, carrying lots of pace around it. Now this is quite a good descent, but it very quickly moves into a built up area. And this is where we had a very close moment. Look at Owen come through there, carrying lots of pace. And there, I don't know what the car driver was thinking. That was a very near miss.
Just calling in now at Silsdon service station just to top up with some fluids. It's quite warm and really close. And I'm really hot. The guys there just talking about that near miss. I mean, we were fair moving, but that car pulled out, no looking, really bad. Right, no drinks, somewhere else. Well, that sun's beating down now. I can feel the temperature all right. It's not bad for September. We're actually in Keighley at the moment, 56 miles in. Another big climb to do. Got to climb out of Keighley first. It's a little dink of a climb, and then we hit the last big climb of the day above Haworth, called Cockhill. But if the guys want to do Crag Vale, I'm up for it. Nothing heard. Okay, well, we're on the A629 now, climbing out of Keighley. This road gives us options, and we can go straight on up towards Halifax, or we can take a right and eventually go over the big climb into Hebden Bridge. Probably at the highest point of the ride today. I think we're around 1300 feet above sea level. And Phil's just saying there, with a slight headwind coming up here, he's got a PR by 1 minute. Woo!
So here we are on the summit of Cockhill. This is the penultimate descent of the day. We're actually at 1,415 feet above sea level. This is the A6003. I'm just coming through to take the lead from Lee there. This is a high level plateaued area that just gently descends, and it's a good road where you can progressively build the speed and hold it at a reasonable pace. You can still cruise at around 34 to 36 miles per hour for the whole length of this. Down the road we've got Mark and Chris, who just kept going. So at the moment we're trying to just close them down and eventually just support them on this descent. As you can see, that gap is coming down significantly. And on this day, Chris had been struggling. He stuck it out for the whole of the ride.
I think Chris is feeling it today, but he's hung on, so fair play to him. He was going to turn back at Burnley, so
we'll just come through now, and hopefully they'll get on our wheels. And just going back to this descent, we actually drop down into Hebden Bridge, which is 312 feet in the valley below, so the total descent is over 1100 feet. And further on down this descent, we reached our maximum speed of 43.2 miles per hour, where it does get much steeper and a bit more technical. And we were able to hold the speed in excess of 40 miles per hour for long periods. Now here comes Phil. He comes flying through there. I mean, look at the gap he's produced. But to maintain that gap and pedal with such force takes some doing. And I think he paid the price for that effort, as we just maintained our current speed, kept him in check, and then just slowly reeled him in. I mean, here I'm not pedaling, I'm freewheeling, I'm tucked in. And like I always say, we're not racing, we're just having a bit of fun. And that was a great effort there by Phil. We're approaching Peckett Well now. We've got sleeping policemen across the road, and it gets very built up. We have to be really careful on this section. We've got a big right-hander. We approach a pub. We have a lot of parked cars, and you've got to really slow it down here.
so dangerous down here now.
And this section in particular, you've got to be very careful. This left-hander, there's also a left fork just ahead. Be very careful. I can't stress that enough. We slowed the pace right down. And once you've got through that bit there, this is where the descent really comes into its own. And if you're a confident descender, this is cycling heaven. But I must stress, it is really, really dangerous. The speeds along here with the bends can catch you out, especially this big left-hander we're about to take on. But if you've got an open road like we had ahead of us, you can just have an absolute blast. And at times you can pick a really nice line just to maintain that pace. And I know that I've got Lee right behind me, but at these speeds it's too dangerous to overtake. Having said that, there are some guys in the gang who weren't out on this ride who would overtake you at this pace. And I don't know how they do it. As you can see there, I'm just tucked in, I'm really enjoying this. There's a lot of adrenaline going through your body and you're processing so many things coming at you. And there's a massive sensory element to this. I love it.
I've said to the guys I fancy Crag Vale. They're probably going to slag me off now, but that'll give us 1 more 1,000 feet of climbing on the ride. And we get another really good descent down Blackstone Edge. Well, we're 70 miles in. I'm feeling pretty good, to be fair. The longest climb in England, or the longest continual climb in England, Crag Vale. We'll get up here and then we'll smash it down Blackstone Edge. One of my favourite descents, that. On its day it is super fast. Today I think we'll have a headwind though.
Now this is the climb of Crag Vale and we're somewhere near the top, and look at the effort Lee's putting through them pedals. He was full on it here. I was holding on for dear life.
This guy here, Lee, he's just towed us up the crag. Fair play, Lee. I didn't go to the front near the top bit, but to be honest, he's got that much respect. He deserved to go over there all the way up to the top. I think I actually helped you by being behind you.
You did, mate.
Right behind you, it gives you that little bit of a
Pocket.
yeah, but well done.
And so here we have the final descent of the day, and I'm just passing Mike and Owen there, building up the speed because this section here, it needs to be hit. If I'm tucking in here, that means I'm doing over 40 miles per hour. I was hitting around 43 at this section. Now today's ride was such a cracker because we've done so many descents that took us into the mid to high 40s, and you don't get that many of them on a normal ride. The whole of this section here was around 44 miles per hour. You've got a big right-hander ahead here. As we approach the moorcock further on down, we maxed out at 46 on this occasion. And on this bike, I'm running a 53.39, with my spoiler sprocket on the back being 11. So if ever I'm tucked in, it means I'm getting to the end of what I can do with that 53.11 without really spinning the pedals along. But here comes Owen, who's been drafting behind me. So he takes some wind there. Whenever you've got Owen on the front, he's always going to punch that big hole in the wind. Just make sure you stay nearby, and then you can work together. And the gap there is reasonable. I can then benefit from the drafting effect. I come through, tuck in, and I get a really good slingshot past him. Owen will do likewise now. He'll be on my back wheel, and he comes through again very shortly afterwards. And this would have been the fastest part of this descent. So there you have it really, and that's basically the ride coming to an end. But like they always say, what goes up must come down, but today was all about the descending.
We still got sand in your shoes, Mike, from your holiday.
All what I've said to my engineers.
I brought some of the Tenerife back.
Shows your tan lines. Look at them! Yeah, good ones, them. Just getting fill up these climbs, but I'm sure one day he'll be kicking our ass and we're all 60 odd. He'll be about 35 then.